Okay, welcome back. Crawford's Locks got five slate game for you for college football this Saturday to go with the NFL bets. Pick which way you want to go. You got lots of winners in there. College football, I'm going to give you a few options on things to go with on how I think the games are going to go. I'll give you a couple games versus the spread and a couple over unders. But looking at the calendar, there's some really good games this week. The first one I'm going to start with is Washington going to Michigan State. Of course, there's some controversy in Michigan State. Head coach Mel Tucker suspended, but you know what? The thing is that Michigan State can run the football. You know, Penix Jr. is he's on fire. He had five TD passes last week. I don't think Washington's really played anybody. I also don't think Michigan State's really played anybody. But I do think there's certain things in football that do carry over. Uh, Michigan State has a good offensive line. Michigan State is going to move the ball on the ground. I think that as long as Michigan State doesn't get behind in the game very early, it's going to be a little bit of trying for Washington to score points. Um, Michigan State's defense, the secondary is pretty good. I do think that the playmakers that Penix has are not of the stature or the ability of Penix Jr. himself. You know, he makes some of those guys look a little bit better than they are. So going into Michigan State, it's going to be a loud crowd. It's going to be a tough place to play. I think Washington 16 and a half points is just too much. And I think Michigan State will move the ball a little bit. And I do think that Penix is going to throw an interception or two at times. So, with that being said, I do think that Washington will still win the game, but I think that they will not cover. I'm going to go with Washington 31 to Michigan State's 20. And I say that's a lock. It's a Crawford's lock. I know there's a lot of distractions, but sometimes when distractions happen, teams rally, and it's kind of like sell the news. Sell the news. Well, I'm selling the news. I think that Michigan State's gonna hold it together there. The second game on the slate is Ole Miss at Georgia Tech. I think this is going to be a high scoring affair. I think this game is definitely going over the 63 that they have slated for that. Um, Ole Miss is such an interesting school to me. I think Georgia Tech has a great offense as well, but it's like it always takes till the second half, and I think that Ole Miss will pull away in the second half. But don't be surprised if the game is close at halftime. I do think that it goes way over 63. I have this game Ole Miss 45, Georgia Tech 24, and Ole Miss will cover minus 18. So you can put that one in as a Crawford lock. Uh, Third game on the slate, Colorado State versus Colorado. Um, Deion Sanders as a child, Deion Sanders has four posters on my wall. Deion, water covers 2/3 of the earth. Deion covers the rest. Why does this guy, you know, you look at Prime's career, look at Prime's life. Why does this head coach from Colorado State think that it's smart to go poking the bear? Uh, you know, Personally, I don't know why anyone doubted Dion. His son should do amazing quarterback. From what I've seen in the first two games, he makes the right decisions. He holds the ball. He runs it out of bounds. He doesn't try to do too much. I think this game it's going to get out of hand. I think it's going to get out of hand really early. I think it's going to get very ugly. I would expect just my this is just my own personal thought is that you're going to get 8 TDs from Colorado somehow, whether it's 5 TD passes and 3 TD runs, or 5 TD passes, two runs, and a defensive touchdown. You're going to get 8 touchdowns out of Colorado in this game, and I think Colorado State's going to be embarrassed. My final score, I have 56-10. It's going to go over the 61, and Colorado will cover the 23. And yeah, I think that anybody who's hating on Dion, got to watch out, man. Like, college football is college football. Kids want to have fun, and also Dion does a great job of making these kids men. So watch out, Colorado State. It's going to be an absolute blowout. Fourth game on the slate is my upset alert. LSU going into Mississippi State. Um, Jaquarius Marks is going to be a problem for LSU. Stopping the run. Mississippi State is going to pound the ball. They're going to lean on Marks to run the ball. LSU is going on the road. It's not going to be an easy test. Um, the crowd down in Mississippi State is going to be loud. The crowd is going to be nasty. And I still just think that the Mississippi State is a very ball hungry defense. I think they force turnovers. I think they can cause problems for LSU. LSU can spread it out as much as they want, but I think that even a 4-man rush, Mississippi State will still get pressure onto the quarterback. And I think they're going to cause some turnovers. Um, I think the game could be close. I know that LSU is not going to cover the 9.5, so I think there's a few ways you can look at this game and win. Um, One, Crawford lock. You take Mississippi State +8. That's a lock, guaranteed. For me, this is my money line underdog. I think Mississippi State wins. I think they beat LSU at home, and I think they beat them in a very, very close football game that comes down to last possession, last minute field goal, something like that, or a drive where last minute drive that just doesn't convert into points to take the lead. So this is going to be a great game to watch. And so my fifth game on the slate is Wake Forest getting 14 versus Old Dominion. And I just looked at that game and I thought to myself, like, I watched Wake Forest last week, very dominant. And I just don't think Old Dominion is of the class of even Vanderbilt. I know that Old Dominion has put up some points, but if this game was Vanderbilt versus Old Dominion and Vanderbilt was favored by 13.5, I'd probably still put my money on Vanderbilt. Wake Forest dominated. Wake Forest offense can put up points in a hurry. I do think that this game is going to be a very high scoring game. And I'm looking at Wake Forest to cover easy, -14. Say Wake Forest 45, Old Dominion 13, and that is a Crawford lock. Um, so a few things this week. You can take it how you want to do it. You can throw some prop bets, but from game one, Washington, Michigan State, I'm going to take Michigan State +16.5. And I think that game is going to go to the under. Ole Miss at Georgia Tech. I believe that game is going to go over the 63, but I would think that Ole Miss is going to cover. They're going to cover the 18 points against Georgia Tech. Colorado State versus Colorado. If you get the prop bet, I think there's going to be 8 TDs in the game. I'd be willing to say there's going to be 5 passing touchdowns in the game. So prop bet 5 TDs from Shadu in that game for sure. Colorado wins 56-10. They cover the 23 and they go over the 61. So there's a lot of locks that are in that Colorado game. You play it how you want to play it. But that's just how I see it this week. Again, LSU, Mississippi State. LSU is on my upset alert. Mississippi State, Davis Wade Stadium is going to be really, really loud. Look for Mississippi State to try to bully ball. They're going to try to pound the football early. If they have success running the football, you can call it good night at halftime. I think that you're going to find out really early LSU's defense is not cut out to stop the pound game that Mississippi State's going to bring. So in that game, I have Mississippi State plus 8.5, Crawford lock, and Mississippi State money line. I would throw it outright. Mississippi State's going to win that football game. And my final game on the slate was Wake Forest. Wake Forest minus 14 against Old Dominion. They are going to cover the 14, and they're also going to go over the 51 over and under. So those are Crawford's locks, NCAA style. You got 5 NCAA games with about 9 different bets you can make in there. Slide over to the Sunday NFL slate, and it's going to be a really, really good weekend, I think, gentlemen. And then we'll tune back in and see how things go on Monday.